So how long were you a police officer?
Total of 12 years.
And somewhere along the line in that, something bad happened. Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, sir. The initial thing, well, the reason I left the department is I'm actually a two-time survivor of sexual assault. The first time was my junior year of college, and I was a student employee at the rec center. And we had finished up softball games, and I was putting equipment up. And after I finished that, I was going from the fields through the hallway at the racquetball court to go into the office and check out. And a university employee cornered me in the hallway, pulled me into a racquetball court, and forcibly fondled me and kissed me. And luckily, I was able to get away. Another student employee had come back into the building because she had forgotten to clock out, so he let me go. And that, 21 years old, I probably didn't really have the tools really to handle it the way it probably should have been handled. But I did finally report it. My supervisors were excellent and very supportive. The university as a whole, unfortunately, was not. And then later on, my second assault was in 2017. And excuse me, had stopped at a truck stop, used a restroom, get something to eat. And as I was walking through the parking lot, I was grabbed, tried my best to fight him off. Unfortunately, I couldn't, and I was raped.
I'm sorry.
I am too, but it's one of those things where you don't think, even though I had been victimized, in college, I didn't think after being a police officer, we have a lot of training in defensive tactics. And I had been very fortunate in my career that, for the most part, I could handle myself. There was a couple of fights I lost, but, luckily we all came out, okay, without serious injuries. And I felt that because of my training, I should have been better at defending myself. And like a lot of victims, even without that experience, they blame themselves. And I fell into that trap too. I blamed myself. I felt again like I should have been able to fight better. I should have somehow sensed that something was going to happen. And I felt ashamed that I couldn't keep him from raping me. And that continued to eat at me. And I was, in all honesty, afraid to, even though I was a former police officer, I was afraid to report it, because I didn't believe that, a police officer or a former police officer could be raped. So I felt like, well, if I didn't believe it could happen, why would anyone else believe me? So that shame and guilt, and felt I lost my sense of self-worth as well. And I continued to fall deeper and deeper into depression, and tried to, use what tools I had to try to fight it off and get better and deal with it. But again, I was so embarrassed and ashamed that I had, in my opinion, at that time, let myself be raped, that I didn't want to tell anybody or talk about it. And that secret just continued to weigh really heavy. And after a few months, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do it anymore. And I decided that I was going to end my life, and began writing goodbye letters. And it was the last goodbye letter that I was writing that words were not coming easily. Couldn't get down what I was trying to get across. And after probably an hour of struggling, I finally just set it aside and thought, I've got to get this done, but, it's not working. Let me just take a break. And I logged into Facebook for the first time in probably a week or so. And I'm just kind of halfway, not really even paying attention, scrolling through my Facebook feed. And I started seeing a hashtag, and I'm like, what is this? I hadn't been watching television. I had no idea what it was. And it slowly started dawning on me what it meant. And it was the Me Too hashtag. It was 2 days after Alyssa Milano had first posted Me Too on Twitter. And I was really struck by the number of friends who were posting Me Too as well. People that I had no idea that they had gone through something similar to me. And I was also very struck by the fact of how many people, even strangers, were saying it. And it dawned on me, it's like, here's people a lot like me who have been through a similar situation, and they're still here. They found some way to continue to put one foot in front of the other and take it day by day. And if they can do it, I'm going to see if I can do it. One of the things I think is very important for people to know, because if it's someone that you care about and they do come to you and say, this has happened to me, usually our first instinct, anytime a loved one comes and says something bad has happened, is you want to fix it. That's just human nature. Oh, I'm sorry, here, let me bundle you up, and fix it for you. You can't fix it. None of us can fix it. I couldn't fix my own assault, other than finally dealing with it and processing it. The best thing I think for people to realize is, one, if somebody tells you that they've been sexually a victim of sexual violence, believe them. Believe them. That's the first and most important thing. The second is to listen. And if they pause for a minute or 10 minutes, let them pause. Let them gather themselves and take the time they need to say what they need to say. Because you have to remember that they have just had control over their own body totally taken away from them. And it is vitally important that they as quickly as possible begin to gain some control back. And just by letting them, just by listening and giving them the time they need and letting them say what they want to say is an excellent first step for them to do that.
Wow, that's great.
And let them do what they think is right for them. Again, we want to fix things. So, you can say, well, do you maybe want to go get medical treatment? But don't say you need to go we need to take you to the hospital. We need to call police. That is their call. They have to be the one in charge of how they handle it. Now, obviously, if they're saying, if they get to the point where I was and they admit that to you, and you think that they're a danger to themselves, obviously you have to intervene. But otherwise, let them do what they need to do to process it. Because if you start trying to take that control away from them, you're just re-victimizing them again. And it's most likely triggering, thoughts of the assault. So that's something I want everybody to try to keep in mind.
That is so remarkable.
Thank you.
By the way, we've been talking with Greta McClain. She is former police officer, and now she's the head bottle washer in charge of Silent No More, which is a nonprofit organization in Tennessee. And this goes worldwide, Greta, and it goes throughout the United States. If somebody is touched by your message today and would like to get in contact with you, is that okay?
That is absolutely okay. If you would like to learn more about Silent No Longer Tennessee, you can go to www.silentnolongertn.org. And you can also email me at contact at silentnolongertn.org, and I will get back to you. If you want me to call you, if you want to set up a Zoom interview or StreamYard, whatever, I'm happy to do that and help you in any way I can.
And if you're somebody that is feeling like she was in 2017 and feeling like there's no way out and the only way out is to kill yourself, please go contact somebody today. Don't wait. Don't contact somebody today and get some help. And if you can call Greta, that would be great. But if she's across the country from you, there are suicide prevention hotlines and things in town that can help you. And to remember, it's not your fault. You were an unwilling participant in a horrible act, and that's really all you can say. Greta,